Go.
Hi, my name's Jane Hopkins. I'm a patient of Southwark. I've just moved into the area from Lewisham in January, and I was approached to kind of give a little bit of feedback on my experiences last year of King's College Hospital, and I feel a bit kind of worried about that because I'm such a firmly committed to the health service. We both date from the same age, 1946. So I've got a kind of, I feel a bit guilty and disloyal about making any criticisms. So I hope that anything I say is about, in the spirit of being a friend, a critical friend of the health service. So to cut to the chase, I was admitted for a right knee replacement, which was the second knee replacement operation at King's. And like the curate's egg, it was good in some parts and poor in others. My surgical team were excellent, but the experience on the ward was a bit more kind of. Yes, I'm afraid it's such a busy ward, an orthopaedic ward, that the nurses are rushed off their feet. And I felt that it would have been nice at some times to have someone to poke their nose around and say, how are you getting on, you all right? And I think I was kind of left to my own devices a bit because I was kind of middle class and sort of fairly articulate and been in the system. But I just wondered how someone who was maybe less assertive would have coped with that. The physio was excellent, good input, but that kind of fell by the wayside a bit on discharge because I didn't get any follow-up in the community with physio. So I don't know whether that was because King's hadn't sent on the information or whether my GP hadn't set that up. So I think there was a bit of fall down in that area. The largest criticism I've got is reserved for the outpatient experience, and that's pre-op operation and post-operative care, in that I used to dread it because I would be given an appointment time which I'd always arrive to, and then it would be up to a 3-hour wait because of the overbooking system, and that didn't include also the horrendous wait to have x-rays and also the phlebotomist to have my blood taken. And I must say the phlebotomy experience was not one to relish. And I understand that it's actually improved a lot, so well done, King's. In that, you waited for up to about an hour, and then when you saw the phlebotomist, they didn't kind of say, oh, hello, sit yourself down there. They wouldn't even look up to sort of look you in the eye and welcome you, and it just felt like being on a factory floor, sort of. So that, but I hear it's a lot better, and so that's something. The other bit that comes in for a bit of criticism is the transport home, and I live alone. I'm partially sighted, registered partially sighted, and I had to wait an hour after I'd been discharged from the ward to be picked up in this van along with 5 other patients who'd been there for daycare or outpatient appointments. And so by the time I got home, about an hour and a half later, after 4 stop-offs for the other people, I was pathetic. I just kind of got home and thought, what do I do now? So I, sort of quite tearful, and I think that I felt a bit abandoned and dumped, really, and not really cared for. So that's the kind of thing. But I mean, I feel amazing now I've had the operation, and thanks so much to the National Health and to King's. I can now walk, which for someone like me is absolutely brilliant because I'm so dependent on public transport. But just one kind of flagging up something that make sure that you talk to people who maybe are a little less, I don't sort of casting myself as articulate, but someone who's maybe has less sharp elbows, and you need to forget the people that don't have advocates for themselves. So, thanks.